All right, so today we are going to be discussing a beer that I found actually at Aldi's, of all places, which I thought was very interesting because I go to Aldi's all the time and I've never seen this beer before. It's an IPA, it's amazing. Also, I just would like to rep the Scarlett's Barbecue. It's my friend's smoked barbecue business in South Florida. Best barbecue you'll ever have in your entire life. Everything's smoked, it's so good. Focus. Anyway, so today we are going to be discussing Wild Range. Okay, this IPA, again, that I found at Aldi's. Okay, it's Wild Range Brewing Company. It's an IPA. It's 6.9 alcohol content, so it is a little stronger than most, but still. It's by Rockwell Brewing Company in Rochester, New York. And again, surprise find at Aldi's. It was amazing. Though I will say, as a beer drinker, it is a little difficult not to want to chug it. But because of its oxidation, you want to allow it to kind of chill a little bit as you drink it, because the flavor evolves. It changes. Weirdly, it changes. It's so good. So today we're gonna try it. Ta-da! This is it. Yum. I know I don't have a proper beer glass today, but today we're gonna use Star Wars, my Stormtrooper glass, because it was in the freezer and it's chilled and it'll pair well, I promise. So let's try this bad boy out. You want to have this beer in a glass because it's just better that way. It oxidizes a little bit more, and again, you don't really want to chug this beer because as you allow it to oxidize, it evolves in flavor. It starts, as I've noticed, with a hint of caramel, but it ends with, and not an aftertaste, but it ends with an almost citrusy flavor. Really good though, but not like too overpowering. I mean, everything down to the aroma of it is just insane. Like, it's so good. Again, it's called Wild Range Brewing Company that they brew in Rockwell, New York, in Rochester. It is a must-have in a glass. In a bottle, it's good. It's good in a bottle, but it's better in a glass. It's definitely what I would think a beer to sip and not chug. And as a beer drinker, it's kind of hard not to want to chug it because it does taste so good. But again, you want to allow it to oxidize because as it oxidizes, it evolves. Like each flavor, so many flavors come out of this. I've actually never had a beer that tasted like this before. So I'm very, very excited. Though before I start sipping it, I do want to allow it to oxidize. But before we get into the taste of the beer and all of those things, I want to talk a little bit about the artwork of this beer. If you notice, the artwork is a man performing at a circus with two wolves. Now, the history behind this picture is, if you've ever heard the old expression that a lion may be king of the jungle, but you will never see wolves perform at a circus. Now, why this is because the artwork shows one of the last performers to actually perform with wolves, and wolves can't actually be tamed, kind of, or in the way that like a lion can. So he was actually potentially killed because of the pack mentality. So they kind of stopped using wolves in circuses, which is good. I actually don't condone circuses whatsoever, to be honest with you. But yeah, so the artwork, again, let me show you real quick, just one more time. Probably a few more times because it's just so amazing. And if you Google the artwork or about this beer, it will show you the story as to why wolves don't perform in circuses, because it's just not okay. So wild name is fitting because of the consistent or actually inconsistent control over the ever-evolving flavor of this beer. So now that it's oxidized a little bit, you can see, it starts with like a caramelly type malt flavor, which is good. You know, I love caramel. It's one of my favorite beers. I absolutely love it. Although it starts with the caramel flavor, it eventually, and you'll see a little bit later, well, you won't see, but if you get it, and you should, it moves on to a little bit of a hoppier taste, which is nice. Also, the head of the beer, right here, never actually goes away. It detaches from the glass itself, but while doing that, it preserves the core of the beer and continues to allow it to evolve, which I love because it's changing the flavor almost with each sip. So again, it's not a beer that you really want to just chug. One, it does have a high alcohol content. It is 6.9, so you want to kind of go easy with it. But yeah, it's definitely a beer to sip, not chug. Though, every time you sip it, you want to give it a few minutes. And I guarantee the smell, the taste, everything about this beer is going to change. It's uncanny. It's very delicious, very good. If I were to drink this beer with food, I would say that the best kind of foods to go with it are like cheeseburgers or pizza or any type of like bar food is kind of what you want to shoot for. It's very rare that you don't find an IPA that's heavy, and it's actually, it's not very heavy at all, especially considering you want to sip it. You don't want to chug it. So it starts with, again, like I said, the malty caramel taste, which is fantastic. It moves over to a smooth hoppy kind of taste. Then, but a little bit later, it turns into kind of a citry taste with not so citrusy as in like oranges and, not incredibly citrusy, but more of an undertone, which is, fantastic. It's very refreshing, almost like a light beer, which is weird because it's not a light beer, but they did something. It's fantastic. So it's not heavy. It doesn't make you feel bloated. You don't have to pee every 10 seconds because Lord knows that's kind of a pain in the ass. But yeah, again, you must have it in a glass. Having it in a bottle is okay. I did try it in a bottle the first time I tried it, and it was good. But once I moved it into a chilled glass, the flavor changed. Like, completely. It completely changed. Some barbecue and craft beer. It does. It goes with barbecue. Absolutely. Hence the Scarlett's barbecue. If you're ever in the South Florida and you like smoked barbecue, I got you. It is. Again, it does have, like I said, it starts off with a hint of caramel. Give it a few minutes. And now I can kind of feel that smooth hoppy taste coming along. It's actually pretty delicious. Also, oh yeah. Again, real quickly for anyone new coming, this is the label. Wild Range Brewing Company, IPA. This is what we're talking about today. This is the bottle. This is what it looks like. Same as the packaging. Star Wars glass. I know it's not a proper beer glass, but I tried to buy beer glasses the other day and I opened them and every single one at the store was chipped and I just couldn't do it. It is great. It is great. Didn't even go 20. It is great. It is a heavy beer, not heavy beer, but it is a strong beer. It is 6.9, so you don't want to go crazy with it. It'll get you drunk real quick. But like I said, the oxidation of this beer is fantastic, but you want it to settle because you want to taste each flavor as you go. Like I said, it's continually evolving. It's something like I've never had. I found it at Aldi's, believe it or not. I found it at Aldi's. Hi, Michigan. How you doing? Send me some beers from Michigan. I hear they have Bell's Brewery out there. One of the most famous breweries in all of America, one of the biggest breweries in all of America. Have you been? Because I am dying to go. On my next tour, we're doing an American tour. I'm headed to Colorado to a couple of new Belgian breweries out there. I'm very excited about that. And I can't wait to go. I'm so happy about that. Like, I'm so excited. And then after the Colorado tour, I'm actually going to be going overseas and try some European beers, which I will have another live on those because I actually bought a couple of those. Haven't had them yet, but they're like in my fridge, like waiting for me to drink them. I'm like, I'll get to you guys. Let me do this first. But yes, so again, the company is Wild Range Brewing Co. The IPA, it's 6.9. And I love their motto because their motto is once wild, always wild. Like, that's just straight up a cool motto. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it says it on here as a matter of fact. Yeah. Once wild, always wild. Like, how cool is that? I think it's cool. But yeah, it's definitely an evolving beer. I do love the fact that they have him on the circus. Because like I said, you can't do... You don't see wolves in circuses. They're going to eat you. That's just how it's going to be. They're going to eat you. So, yeah, the pack mentality, they're going to eat you. So this beer was actually founded on the fact that, you know, he was the last guy to be able to do this. And again, if you Google it, it'll show you right then and there. And actually the picture on Google is in full color. This one is in black and white. But again, if you Google it, it's in full color. It's actually really cool. But again, you know, after that, they decided not to do it anymore because, again, you can train a lion, you can't train a wolf. So that's kind of where they came, you know, it came from. Once wild, always wild. But it's actually pretty good. Time for another sip because guaranteed, each sip, give it a few minutes, it's always going to taste different. Where are you starting? Where are you going to start at? What do you mean? I've already been starting. I have a channel on YouTube, and I've been doing a South Florida tour right now. I have 3 more breweries to do in South Florida, and then headed over to Colorado in January. And then after that, Colorado, and then a few more states in the US, and then headed to London, Norway, and Italy. Because they don't have many breweries over in London and things like that. They have more pub style things, and those are, you know, just, you know, your random pubs, which is awesome, but not so many breweries. So I'm very excited about that because there are a handful of breweries over there because obviously, you know, people make European beer, and I'm excited about it. Again, the most difficult thing about this beer is you really do want to chug it. You just want to drink it. Have you thought about hitting Germany while you're in Europe? Of course. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to hit Germany while I'm in Europe because, I mean, 1, the food, and 2, I mean, Germany's like known for their beer. And I do have a German beer that I am going to do again on my live. And the thing about the German beers and the European beers, their alcohol percentages are much, much less than Americans. Like, their alcohol percentages are more to kind of taste with food. Kind of like wine is when you go other places. It's not to get drunk. It's not to get shitty. It's more to pair with food. So, again, like this, you would pair with cheeseburgers, pizza, bar food. So, that's pretty cool. Gotta run. Love you. See you on the next live, babe. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. see, again, the head of the beer never really goes away. It detaches a little bit, but it's always there. Always there. Because it's an evolving beer. You let it oxidize, you let it breathe, kind of like wine. You let it just kind of chill for a little bit, and each sip is like you're having a different kind of beer, which to me is fantastic. I'm like, oh shit, like this is pretty cool. But, and even the citrus aspect of it is not overly citrus, because again, it starts with a caramel malt, and then kind of as it oxidizes and as it changes, it has an almost citrusy flavor, not even aftertaste, more like almost like a Blue Moon, if you can kind of understand that. Like if you've ever had Blue Moon, that's kind of what it ends off as. But it is a fitting name, like I said, because there is no constant control over this beer. So when they say, again, once wild, always wild, they are not lying, because this beer is wild. It's insane. Like, it's forever changing. I've honestly, that's why I had to do a live immediately on this, because I had it and I was like, oh my gosh, this beer is just so different. It's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, which is great, and I love it. Again, I know it's not the proper beer glass, but you know, Star Wars. How you gonna hate on a stormtrooper? I mean, you can, but you know, what are you gonna do? Thank you for the confetti, by the way. But yes, so if I were to say any type of beer that I have ever had, I mean, down to the aroma, each sip tastes different. Again, it's not a beer to chug at all. Because if you chug it, you're not really gonna taste it. You're just gonna get shitty. You're just gonna get drunk, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. I do that all the time. But between the history of this beer, the way it's constantly changing, the artwork, I mean, the circus performer with the wolves, I mean, that's just uncanny. But I love it. On the bottle, it says, "Don't you dare miss it. Mr. Wolf and his semi-trained carnivores will be at the fire pit at midnight." I mean, he didn't make it. I'm sure the wolves did, but he made it. My favorite song is, somebody once said, "I hope." That's pretty good. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I hope he knows. I hope he knows. Boss Dilly. Hi. So yeah, but like I said, so now we're getting more. We've pretty much, again, the head doesn't change. It, like I said, it just kind of separates from the glass. It allows it to oxidize, and it kind of changes a little bit. I have an invite by Boss Dilly. Let's talk to you. What's up, man? Anyways, so like I said, it's forever changing. This is not a beer to be chugged. It's a beer to be sipped and enjoyed with food. I just ate, so that's kind of why I'm not eating right now. But once again, it's by Wild Range Brewing Company. It's a 6.9 alcohol content IPA. Their motto is once wild, always wild. It is a Rockwell Brewing Company from Rochester, New York. And again, I found it in Aldi, of all places. I don't know if you guys have Aldi where you guys are. It's actually one of the newer, I think we maybe had it for like 4 years at this point here in South Florida. And now it's kind of starting with that slightly citrus taste. I mean, started here, we're up to here, and this is kind of the point where we start to get a little citrusy. Let it kind of flow. You can drink it in a bottle. I keep saying don't drink it in a bottle, but I just don't feel that you would get the taste, the fullness of it, every aspect of it. Because when you drink it from a bottle, you know, you're just gonna drink it, and you know, it's great. But in a chilled glass is probably the best way to have it because you want it to aerate, kind of like wine, like I said. Smells amazing. Oh, it smells so good. But that's another thing. Every time you sip it, it tastes a little different, but the smell changes as well. For the better, of course. Again, if you're just joining, the best foods to have with it are bar foods for sure. You want to have like meat with it. Like if you're gonna have pizza, you want to have like a meat style pizza. If you're vegetarian or vegan, I wouldn't recommend a salad. Probably fish if you're Episcopalian. That'd be good. And now we have that citrusy undertone to it, which is very nice. I like that a lot. It's not heavy. It's not a heavy beer. It seems like it would be heavy considering its alcohol content and, you know, its dark color. You know, it is, it looks a little lighter considering, you know, the ring light, but it's actually darker than what it looks like on camera. But it is actually a little bit darker, you know, shaded up like 2 degrees. But it's very refreshing, which is another, my favorites. Oh, yeah, I read it. But it is refreshing, almost like a light beer more towards the end. It seems a little heavy in the beginning considering that it is very malty, very caramel flavored, very full-bodied, which is fantastic. I mean, those are my favorite kind of beers. I'm not a very big citrus fan, to be honest with you. But I do like the way this kind of turns into citrusy flavor towards the end. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I wouldn't suggest, you know, drinking a whole bunch of it if, I mean, unless, you know, it's a Sunday and you're trying to party at the pool or whatever, but. Yeah, it's getting to that citrusy point. Fire pit beer or enjoy by the pool beer. Definitely fire pit beer. For sure. This is not something you want to take to the pool with you. If you're going to go to the pool, I would suggest something a little bit lighter. This is definitely more of absolutely a fireside beer. This is like something that you're going to drink at nighttime and, you know, hang out by the fire, eat some hot dogs and cheeseburgers, things like that. If you're going to the pool, you're going to want to drink something a little bit lighter than this because, again, it's not a heavy beer, but it is an IPA. But at the end of the day, as long as you drink it properly, like, and let the flavors evolve and kind of let them, you know, let it oxidize. Again, the head's not gone. It's still changing flavors as you go. Yeah, I would suggest something a little bit lighter for the pool. Not so much something as heavy. Even though it doesn't feel heavy, it's not going to leave you bloated at the end of the day. But yeah, definitely not a pool beer. No, especially not with the sun hitting you like that. Oh my goodness gracious, can you imagine? Yeah, we're still in that caramel citrusy kind of flavor. It's got more of the undertone right now, which is nice. I love it. It's very, very good. Again, let me show you the bottle. Wild Range. And this guy is a real guy. He really did train with these wolves. He really did do this whole circus act. Like, it's pretty incredible to me. I think so, anyway. Once wild, always wild. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Who doesn't do that? But yeah, the aftertaste, it almost ends with the more of a citrusy flavor, which I think is very enjoyable. I do like the caramel malts because that's just my personal favorite taste, but the evolving flavors of it is something that I've never really had. So that's why I was so excited about it. I was like, oh my goodness, like I had it in a bottle first. It was great. But then I tried it in a glass, wait a little bit, let it kind of air out like you would wine. And I just noticed the flavors changing, the smell changing, everything kind of just oxidizing, and it almost, at the end of it, tastes like a completely different beer. Definitely not the beer that I started with, so I'm very happy about that. Because you don't really find many beers that do that. Like, you really don't. Like, if you order a Yingling, it's going to taste like Yingling all the way through. This, on the other hand, does not do that. It changes as it goes. So I think it's pretty good. So yes, I would suggest in a chill glass, not in the bottle if you can avoid it. In the bottle, I mean, again, it was good, but chilled glass, you want to let that air get into it. You want it to kind of like breathe a little bit like you would, again, like wine. But all in all, a really, really good beer. Again, I know I'm not drinking from a proper glass. I am drinking from a Stormtrooper Star Wars glass. But, you know, whatever. I mean, at most bars, you'd probably get this glass anyway. It is a pint glass, so it's not like completely out of the, you know, realm of which glasses you can get. Like I said, I did try to get a Pilsner glass, but when I opened it, when I went to go buy it, they were all broken. So I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. Again, still, I'm halfway through. The head has yet to go away, which is very odd because that means that it's staying carbonated, that it's not going flat, especially for what you are expecting from the beer, what you want from the beer. You don't want your beer to go flat. And that's why I think why a lot of people chug their beer or drink their beers too quick, and they're they're ready to order the next one. But I mean, everything down to the aroma of this beer, it's constantly changing. It's constantly changing flavors, it's changing scents, it's changing everything. But again, it's a beer to sip, not to chug. So what makes me wonder what Star Wars character would enjoy it? I think that's a fantastic question. What Star Wars character would enjoy this beer? Leia. Leia would enjoy this beer, I think. She just seems like a cool chick. I think she's a beer drinker. For sure. What character do you think would enjoy this beer? That question back to you. But no, it is really good. I'm very happy with it. I mean, what a find. What a find. Oh, and the best part about it, this 6-pack only cost me like like $10, I think. Something like that. Wasn't even expensive. But it was pretty good. $10 for this. For this 6.9 IPA, Wild Range Brewing Company is it right now. Like, this is my new ever-evolving, maybe Han Solo. Yep, I can see that. Because he is kind of ever-evolving. I can see that. Cheers to that. Clink. Stormtroopers would miss it every time. I don't know why I went with Stormtrooper one, but because I love them. I love Stormtroopers. What are you gonna do? I love them. But yeah, so I just wanted to share this information with you guys, let you know that I'm absolutely in love with this beer. I am so happy with it. I love every aspect about it because it's not... I'm just going to hold the bottle so you guys can see it constantly because, guys, you got to get on this. I know this isn't part of my normal show, but when I do find a beer that I really like, I do want to share it with you guys. I want to show you what I have. So this is what I'm drinking today. I think tomorrow I'm going to start more on the European side of the beers. Try to go for... Again, their alcohol content's much less because they like to do more of the lower alcohol content beers, which is fantastic because they, pair it with food. And again, this beer is more paired with like bar food. Like you want to get a cheeseburger with this. You want to get pizza with this. You want to, kind of get something a little heavy because you may think this is a heavy beer. It's really not, which I love. And again, it's ever evolving. Again, still, I'm more than halfway done with this beer, and it has yet to, the head's still there. You know, it's ever evolving. We're now definitely more into the refreshing aspect of the beer. It's here was malty. I had that caramel flavor. Here it got a little bit more refreshing, more hoppy tasting, which was good. We got down to here, which had more of the citrus aftertaste, I want to say, but light citrus, light citrusy, like not Blue Moon yet. Here we're getting more to the citrusy part of it, which I love. Not fully, but with this, I'm not mad at it. I can't hate on it. Again, by the way, guys, my hat, Scarlett's Barbecue. Check it out if you're ever in South Florida. They have the best food truck. Actually, my friend who owns Scarlett's, him and his wife, he just won Grill Master in all of South Florida, which I thought was pretty cool. So go at Marvin Perez and at effing Beth, because they own this company and it's real good. So if you guys are ever in South Florida, be sure to look them up online and enjoy it, because oh my goodness gracious, it's amazing. So if you're gonna ever have a beer to go with barbecue, it's this. Hence why I had to wear the hat, because I'm like, if I'm doing beer, gotta wear the barbecue hat, you know what I mean? Because it's just amazing. It's just too good. They have the best barbecue, and this beer would pair amazing with it. And they also do their food trucks at breweries, which is fantastic, because, you know, barbecue and beer go together like I don't know what else goes together, but barbecue and beer, I think that's the best analogy, because, you know, if you're at a barbecue, you're gonna have beer. And where did you... I bought it at Aldi's. Aldi's. Again, I don't know if all you guys have Aldi's around you, but if you do, this is what you gotta get. Wild Range. It's 6.9 IPA. Once wild, always wild, which is a great thing. Again, the picture on it, for those who are just kind of tuning in, the guy who is on this picture, again, you can find it on Google, full color. This is just a black and white, but on Google you can find it in full color. And what they did is, like I said earlier, you can train lions in the circus, you cannot train wolves. The guy who did this, and this is the packaging, 6-pack packaging. The guy who trained these wolves in the circus, unfortunately, was eaten by said wolves. So there's that. I mean, you know, the pack mentality, they gonna get you. It's as simple as that. They gonna get you. But yeah, all these, I found this. So, and lucky me. And I just went there for candles. Actually, this candle. Oh, it's too hot to pick up. But it's Tropical Escape candle. It smells like grapefruit. It's amazing. And now we're definitely starting to get more into the citrusy. This is where it starts to taste a little bit like Blue Moon. Again, keep in mind, there's still a head on this beer. It has not flattened. It has not... I mean, it's still just as fresh as when I first poured it, which is odd, because normally beers tend to go flat so fast, which is another reason why people tend to chug their beers opposed to just sipping them like they're intended to be. Beer is meant to be sipped, not chugged, though, you know, people love to chug beer. I love to chug beer, but when it's an artisanal beer, you want to enjoy it. You want to drink it. You want to, you know, taste the flavor. This flavor is forever evolving. It changes constantly. And this has become probably one of my new favorite IPAs. I really, really, really like it. And I hope that you guys will go out and check this out. Go get it for yourselves. Enjoy it, because it is fantastic. Even the smell changes. Like I said, as you go, the aroma changes, the flavor changes. As it oxidizes, it starts with hints of caramel, and it ends with, almost like I said, a citrusy type flavor. Everything down to the aroma. It's a beer to be sipped not chugged. Again, the history behind the picture is the guy was training wolves in the circus. Didn't work out for him so much. They ate him. They did. They ate him. But the artwork, regardless, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, come on now. This is pretty amazing. I found this beer at Aldi's, once again. So if you've never been to Aldi's, or if you don't have an Aldi's by you, I'm sure you can find it at your local, you know, Total Wine, when you know how you pick your own 6-packs and things like that. I'm sure you can find it there. Even though it is a very high volume in alcohol, as long as you let the flavors kind of do their thing, you know, it's not going to get you, you know, you're not going to fall on the floor. Let's just say that. You're not going to fall on the floor. You're going to be good. I prefer it in the glass because it gets the most aeration. It gets, you know, the oxygen really gets in there. That's when the flavors start to change, things like that. It's like, again, it starts with from here, where I started it starts with the malty caramel, which is, again, my favorite. It's delicious. Then down to a smooth kind of hoppy taste, which, you know, it is an IPA. It's a very hoppy beer, but not hoppy enough to where you're going to feel bloated from it. You're not going to be like, ugh, especially if you're having cheeseburgers and the bar food that I feel in the barbecue that's really kind of intended for this type of beer. Then about here, like I said, you get that slight citrus kind of aftertaste about it, which is amazing. And then you move down to right about here where I'm at now, you get that citrus undertone, which, I mean, it's not a citrus beer. And that's why I'm like, wait, what? There's nothing citrus about it. But as it oxidates, and again, still, same, the head is still there. It has not flattened out. You take your time with this beer. You really enjoy it. And it's very rare that it doesn't feel heavy. Again, it complements burgers, pizza, bar food, barbecue for sure, because everyone loves barbecue. Who doesn't? But this has definitely become one of my favorite IPAs, for sure. I picked it up the other day. I was like, oh, I gotta, you know, if I was near the brewery, I would. If I was in Rochester, I'd be there right now. Though they do have it in, I want to say California, but I think I might be wrong on that. I think they actually only have this brewery in Rockwell, New York, that is. But yeah, I'm almost done with this beer, so I'm almost done with my live. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information because I love beer. I'm very passionate about it. I love everything about this IPA. IPAs kind of tend to be my favorite. What if you're not a huge fan of IPA? If you're not a huge fan of IPAs, this is the beer that I would suggest because it doesn't taste like an IPA. It's not heavy like most IPAs. It's not very, it's like I said, from like about here to here, it does have, like, I'm sorry, from here to here, it's got that hoppy taste to it. Again, it starts with the caramel kind of taste to it, malty caramel kind of taste to it. And then it moves to a smooth hoppiness, then more of a citrus beer. So if you're not into IPAs and you kind of like that citrusy, like say like a Blue Moon, this would be it. Because I know a lot of people don't like IPAs, but this was a very rare kind of beer that doesn't taste like an IPA and it's not heavy. And that's a lot of people's things about not liking IPAs is because they feel like they're too heavy or they're too, you know, like you kind of get a little bloated after you drink it. But if you relax with this beer and you're eating with it, I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy this. And there's the citrus. That's the citrus right there. And see, again, foam is still there, which to me is uncanny because I've never had a beer that I've had to sip on this long without it going flat. But it changes so much throughout the entire drink that it feels like you're tasting 4 or 5 different beers as you go. As long as you don't chug it, like I said, it just tastes different constantly. It's a very good beer. And if you're not a big fan of IPAs, this is probably the only IPA that I would suggest to you. Again, real quick before I leave you guys, again, this is Wild Range IPA. It's a 6.9. So it is very, it has high, alcohol content volume. It is brewed in Rockwell, Rochester, New York. The brewing company is Rockwell. I found it at Aldi's. Again, if you don't have Aldi's, I'm sure you can find it at Total Wine. And for my last sip, again, for this entire live, for my last sip, it still has the head. It has yet to go flat. That's incredible. Most beers at this point, especially in a glass, would have gone flat at this point. Amazing. So good. So good, so good, so good. So if you're not a big fan of IPAs, you don't like them that much, this right here would be my go-to, if you don't like IPAs. Again, it is not a beer to chug. It is a beer to enjoy. It changes constantly, all the time. I actually might have another one because they are that good. If you want to talk about it a little bit more, I will be here having another one. But let me show you. Oh, and let me show you a little bit of the artwork as well, because that's kind of fascinating. I want you to look at the cap. This, oh, wait, let me focus it, is the wolf, which is on the bottle. Again, the reason that they have the wolf is because this man who did it, if you weren't tuning in earlier and you're tuning in now, this man right here was a real guy. He was a real guy, and he trained wolves to be in the circus. Circus didn't work out too well because unlike lions, you cannot tame a wolf. Their pack mentality kicks in, and they're gonna eat you. They're just gonna eat you. So I feel like I should get another chilled glass, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. If you notice, the head is always gonna stay at an even level. That's kind of most important, that the head stays at an even level. And I'm not gonna even sip it immediately because I want it to oxidize. Because like I said, it changes constantly throughout. Again, you can have it in a bottle, but I think the best way to have it is in a glass. It's just a nice chilled glass. Let that air kind of set in, let it breathe, let it chill, let it do its thing. Again, this is the bottle. This is the artwork. Found it at Aldi's. 6.9%. Once wild, always wild. Rockwell Brewing Company in Rochester, New York. Cheers. If you're looking for any other information about this beer, I got you. I got you. But again, it is not a beer to be chugged. It is a beer to be sipped. You want to let it kind of evolve its flavors. Again, I know I'm reiterating, but I'm having viewers in and out, so I'm gonna have to reiterate, which is fine. But I love it. I really do. It tastes like a different beer with each sip. And I don't really like keeping my hands around it because it kind of warms it up a little too much. So I kind of keep my hands here so I keep it cold, which is nice, because I feel like if I warm it with my hand, it's going to change the taste into something that I'm not really like a fan of. But again, the head never goes away. It's always got it. It'll separate from the glass, but that's changing the tone, the taste, the flavor as it oxidizes. Again, now I'm starting again with the hints of caramel and I'll probably start with the hints of caramel to about here. Once the caramel starts to recede, it starts with hoppy kind of feel to it, which is fantastic because, you know, I love hoppy beers. Some people don't. I do. But that's all, you know, an IPA. So I do like the hoppy IPA kind of style. And then we get to about here, and that's where we get the citrus taste. More of an undertone opposed to a taste. And then about here is where we really start to taste that citrusy aspect of it, which I love. And again, it's very rare that you can find an IPA that, one, changes so consistently as you drink it, and it does not feel heavy. You do not feel bloated after. It pairs well with barbecue. It pairs well with cheeseburgers, pizza, anything with meat, I think. As far as, you know, you want to, like I said, for vegans or vegetarians, this actually, I believe, is a vegan beer. They don't use any animal byproducts with it. Not that I saw online or not that I Googled or anything like that. Like, no. The only thing it does is it impairs your ability to drive a car or operate machinery, which, you know, I love to operate machinery, but, you know, I won't do that. Not today, at least. So, but I do think that this is probably one of the greatest IPAs that I've had. Again, I did find it at Aldi's. Again, if you don't have Aldi's, I'm sure you can find it at your local Total Wine, or I wouldn't say your grocery store. I've been to, I mean, I don't know if you guys have Publix where you guys are, but I've never seen this in Publix before, or in New York. When I live in New York, I don't see King Colin. Hey-o, you're back. Hey, nice to see you again. What's going on, man? So I just started my second glass, by the way. Oh, thank you for the rose. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Cheers to you. So I just started my second glass. Now that you're just joining us, we're at the caramel stage right now. That malty caramel stage. I kind of just wanted another one, to be honest with you, because it really is. It's very delicious. Nice, right? Yes. Cheers to you as well. Thank you. So, like I said earlier, we still have the head going on, which is normal because I honestly did just pour it, so that's gonna stay in tune for a minute. But I don't know if you saw, I know you didn't because you had to go. We got to here, and I still had this same amount of head to it, because as we drink it, it evolves. Smell, everything, taste, aroma, everything changes with this beer. It's forever evolving. Again, like I said, it's a beer to be sipped, not chugged. And I really hope you guys go out and get this. I mean, this is a really good beer, because if you do get it, I want to know what you guys think of it. How you feel about it. Like, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I think it's forever changing, but I always want to hear feedback and kind of know what you guys think of these beers that I talk about, because, you know, everyone has different palates. Everyone talks about, you know, well, I think it tastes like this. I think it tastes like that. Like, let me know. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to hear your suggestions. So again, if you have an Aldi's, this is what you want to pick up. It's not expensive. It's, I think I said, like, I spent like $10 on it, if that, for a 6-pack. I was like, I gotta try this. I've never had it, gotta try it. I kind of do that a lot. If I've never tried a beer before and I see it, I'm like, I need that. Still in the caramel stage, which is good. Amazingly delicious. Amazingly delicious. But yeah, so as I said, I have my own show called Brew Tours with Amanda L. If you haven't been or haven't seen it, I highly suggest that you do if you're a beer fan, or you just, you know, like to know the science behind it, because that's kind of why I got into the show, is because I like to know the science behind the beers. I like to know how things are made, certain types of beers, because, I mean, we all know there's so many different types of beers out there, and not to say that like one beer is ever better than the other, but certain things pair with different things, just like wine, you know? It's good to know. It's good to know the information. So that's kind of what my show is about. And I just actually own and it's weird that I even have to say this, I own the rights to my own show. You would think that just because I created the show that I should already own the rights to it. No, $3,000 later and, you know, X amount of lawyers, I now own the rights to my own show. Thank you. So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah. So I just love to drink beer. I love to talk about beer. I love the science behind beer. I just love everything about it. Not that I'm, you know, I love to get drunk, you know. I do have a day job. But on the days that I'm not working the next day, cheers. But again, this is Wild Range. And if I didn't tell you guys before, the label on it, I don't know if you guys can read that. I'm sure you can. I'll read it to you. It says, "Don't you dare miss it. Mr. Wolf and his semi-trained carnivores will be at the fire pit at midnight." The wolves were there. He was not. Because, again, you can train lions to be in a circus. You cannot train wolves. He was one of the last people to be able to train wolves. Because he was mauled and attacked and, unfortunately, lost existence due to said wolf. So that's why you don't really see wolves in circuses. So that's kind of why, you know, once wild, always wild. Which is great. Which I also find, because of this IPA, that I find it very funny that, and again, you can find it on Google in full color, this picture. He's a real person. He really did all of these things. Like, it's pretty intense. It's pretty insane. I think so anyway. But you can find this picture in full color on Google. If you look at it, you can find the whole history of him and everything like that. But yes, so now that we're down a little bit, still caramely tasting, but starting to get that kind of citrusy aftertaste, letting it oxidize. I mean, it even smells different. It smells different, which is insane. Oh, thank you so much for the rose. But yeah, it even smells different, which I find fantastic. Again, heads there, which should be very important. It doesn't detach from the glass, or it detaches from the glass, it doesn't detach from the beer, which I find to be very important because it shows that it's not going flat. I know I had to reiterate that, but you never know. Once again, still really good. I think that it's probably one of my favorite pale ales that I've had so far. And I just think it's also a very interesting concept. I haven't seen too many like IPAs do something like this before, where the taste is forever evolving, like as you go. Like each level, again, it never goes flat. There's always a head to it, which I find fantastic. Each bar, I'm gonna say, let's call them bars, each bar changes as you let the oxidation kind of hit, let it aerate a little bit, almost like you would wine. It changes. Not only does the taste change, the aroma changes. The head never goes away. It starts off with hints of caramel, ends with more, you know, a caramel, a little bit hoppy aftertaste. Then you get like a citrus overtone, and then right down here, very citrusy. Again, it's an IPA, but it's not heavy. It's very light, pairs very well with bar food, barbecue, and it's meant to be sipped. It is not meant to be chugged. It is a very high alcohol content of 6.9, which, you know, is great. It's fantastic, you know, but you drink a six pack of this, you gonna get drunk. And this beer, I don't think was made to really be intended to be drank like that. I think it was, in all honesty, meant to be drank like in sips because the flavor is constantly evolving. The smell is constantly evolving. Like, I mean, when I first poured the beer, it smelled like caramel. It tasted like caramel. It smelled like caramel. And now we're getting to that like kind of hoppy scent, that kind of hoppy feel to it. It even tastes different than the first few sips, which is astonishing because, I mean, honestly, how many beers do you know that do that? There's not many. Again, I do advise that, I mean, it's good to have in a bottle. I'm sure it's great to have in a bottle. I did have it in a bottle at first. The first one I did try, I had it in a bottle. But when I put it in the glass, it was like a totally different beer. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, this is a totally different beer. And as I kept sipping it, I noticed even more so that it was a completely different beer. I was just like, oh my goodness, each sip tastes different. So that's another really cool thing about this beer. Again, I got it at Aldi's. Just a weird random find. I bought it warm, which is not uncommon because if people who know beer know that beer is actually brewed warm, and if you're not in America, beers are served warm. So I bought this beer warm. I refrigerated it myself because I personally just like the cold beer. But again, the foam is still intact. We've officially passed the caramel flavor. We're now getting into the hoppiness of it, which is nice. About here again, we'll get into the more citrus undertones of it. And as we go, it'll just kind of feel a little bit lighter. It's got those hints of caramel still. The hints of caramel never leave. The hints of caramel are always there, which is nice because it's like a caramel malty type deal. But it's fantastic. Again, the artwork, if you guys haven't seen, Wild Range. If you don't know the backstory of him, Google it. I've talked about it already. He was the last performer to work with wolves because, again, unlike lions, wolves cannot be tamed, and he was unfortunately mauled by said wolves. Again, I'll read this because this is just fantastic. It says, "Don't you dare miss it. Mr. Wolf," him, the one who trained the wolves, and his semi-trained carnivorous wolves will be at the fire pit at midnight. Well, the wolves made it to the fire pit at midnight. He did not, because again, you just can't train wolves. So the slogan for their beer is "Once wild, always wild." I don't know if you can see that. Once wild, always wild. Because that's what wolves are. And that's kind of what this beer is. It's a wild beer. I've never had a beer taste like this before that's changed and evolved in so many different flavors before, which I find fantastic, especially for an IPA, because again, you drink any other IPA, it's going to taste the same way throughout. It's always going to taste exactly the same from top to bottom, whether it's in a bottle or whether it's in a glass. This in a glass, you let that air hit it, you let it oxidize for a little bit. Again, never loses its head. Always. It will separate from the glass a little bit, but while it separates from the glass, it's changing not only the flavor, but the taste. So we start with the caramel malt, go to the hoppiness, and now that I'm at the hoppiness line, my next few sips are gonna have those citrus undertones. Not so much like a Blue Moon, not that citrusy. But yeah, definitely citrus undertones. Again, it's Wild Range Brewing Company, IPA, 6.9%. Once wild, always wild. It is brewed in it's brewed in Rochester by Rockwell Brewing Company in New York. And again, I found it at Aldi. It was about $10. That's about it, And cheap beer, blah, blah, blah. But I've honestly have never had a beer evolve and change so much. Especially, not so much in the bottle, to be honest. In the bottle, when I first tried it, it tasted the same throughout. I'll be honest. It tasted the same throughout the bottle. Have a nice day, dear. Oh, you too. Oh, it's morning by you. Cheers. I'm drinking Mark's Hard Peach Fuzz. I have not had that. How is it? Let me know. I haven't had that one. But yeah, this is, what I'm drinking right now is this. This is what I'm talking about right now, the Wild Range. Have you had? Oh, it's freaking good? Nice. Yeah, I haven't had that yet. And you know what? I used to like Mike's Hard a long time ago. And I know that they came out with a bunch of different flavors. I just haven't really had them in a minute. But that peach sounds delish. I love peach. I love peach and I love raspberry. Those are my go-tos, for sure. You might like, do you like caramel? If you like caramel, you might like this. Basically, it tastes like peach fuzzy. Ooh, really? I may have to get me some of that. I like peach fuzzy candy shit. Forgot I can't curse. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try some of that. Some of that peach fuzz candy. Yum, yum. But you need to try this. If you're an IPA fan, or even if you're not, it doesn't taste like IPA. It does, like, it's not heavy like IPA. A lot of people, you know, no, I'm not gonna say a lot of people don't like it, like IPAs, but people who aren't fans of IPAs, I think would really, really enjoy this. Because, again, like I said, it changes flavors throughout. It's really good. I'm not a big fan of beer. Yeah, some people aren't. Some people aren't. Because people think beers can be very heavy, you know, and I get that. Because they are. Beers are heavy. I get it. I weirdly... I really thought this was going to be heavy. And the first handful of sips, I was like, oh, this is a heavy IPA. But as it moved about, like the lines, like here, it was heavy. Here, it was a little bit like malty, like a hoppy type feel. So, but now that I'm at this point right here, and if you can see, there's still a head to it, so it's not flat. It's more of a sipping beer than a chugging beer. It's got more of a citrus kind of tone to it, more of a citrus undertone. And it's good. So if you're not a big fan of beer, but if you ever wanted to be like, maybe I'll try a beer, I would highly suggest this. It's Wild Range. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. It's not heavy, but it is high alcohol content. It is 6.9. But I'm not sure if you were here when I was telling you the story of this guy. He was one of the first circus performers to train wolves. Like people would train lions, like Siegfried and that other guy. But you cannot train wolves like you can train lions. And unfortunately, they mauled him. And, you know, so this is kind of one of the last pictures of him. The mantra, that's the word I was looking for. The mantra of the beer is once wild, always wild. And wolves kind of, you know, they always wild. Now we're getting into the more citrusy, again, aspect of the beer, which is pretty good. Again, still head, it does not go flat. Even with the air hitting it, all of that. I mean, look at that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Again, I know this is not a Pilsner glass or a real beer glass. It's just a, you know, Stormtrooper Star Wars glass, but it is a pint glass, you know, whatever. It was chilled, so don't hate. But the Wild Range is a fitting name because it is consistent, and there is, I feel like there's no control over this frickin' beer. The beer is forever evolving. The flavor is constantly changing, like, which is so weird. Like, I've never had a beer taste like this before. Went from caramel to hoppy to citrus aftertones to straight citrus. I'm like, It didn't taste that way in the bottle, though. That's the thing. It did not taste that way in the bottle. The second I put it in the glass, let air hit it, it like, every sip is different. The smells are different. Everything about it, like, changes as you go. As long as you don't chug it and you just kind of sip it. Let me know how you like it. Oh, I will. I'm going to try it for sure. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And I will let you know because you follow me, you know. I'll let you know. But you know what? We'll do a thing. I'll try your fuzz drink, the peach fuzz, because that just sounds amazing. You try this, and we'll compare and contrast because, you know, why not? That just sounds like fun. We can do a live together and we'll like just switch. We'll switch it up. You'll be like, all right, you try this, I'll try that, and we can like cheers, you know, have fun with it. But yeah, now we're getting into the more citrusy kind of thing. I kind of went to oh, I got it at Aldi's. Girl, it was like $10. Or not even. Oh my gosh, I want to say, does it say it on here? This is the artwork, by the way, for it. Same as the bottle. I honestly think it wasn't more than like $7. And I got it at Aldi's. I don't know if you have an Aldi's by you, but if you don't, I'm sure you can get it at Total Wine, but it was not even expensive at all. I was expecting it to be like, you know, like $14, $15. You know, it's it's 6.9. So it is high in alcohol content. But as long as you eat with it and drink, and, you know, as long as you eat, again, it pairs best with cheeseburgers, pizza, bar food, barbecue. We have NBL here. What's NBL? I don't have NBL by me. I'm in Florida. Where are you? NBL. I don't even know the acronym for that. Yeah, we don't. I don't have NBL. I have Publix here. Oh, New Brunswick Liquor. Okay. See if they have that there. And then we can do a live together. We can like try each other's stuff. Like that'd be so fun. I'm down for that for sure. That sounds like so much fun. But yeah, see like right about here, it gets that like citrusy type feel. Like that, but not overly citrusy because I don't like citrus. Some people love that stuff. Some people love Blue Moon and things like that. And I don't hate on Blue Moon. I like Blue Moon. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I can't have a whole pint of it. I really can't. I can't have a whole pint of that. I need something with a little bit more of the caramel aftertones. Except for like, how you said with the mics. Like, that stuff's sweet. But it's intended to be sweet. Like, it's supposed to be sweet. Like, why buy it if you're not looking for something, you know, sweet to drink? Like, I get that. And every once in a while I get in that mood. I'm like, oh, I want something sweet to drink because I drink beer. So it's like, it's never really sweet. But every once in a while I do get in that mood. So yeah, definitely. When I pick it up, I will message you and be like, girl, I got it. We drinking tonight? And we just go live and just have fun and drink together. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. My dad loves Bud Light. Oh, I'm not a big Bud Light fan, but a lot of my friends are. A lot of my friends are Bud Light fans. My buddy Ben loves Bud Light. Like, he won't drink anything else. I'm like, oh, have this, have that, you know, because, you know, I do my show. I have my brew tour show. I'm like, oh, I found this new beer. You should try it. He's like, yep, Bud Light. I'm like, well, okay. You know, I ain't gonna hate on you, but hey. Yeah, now it's feeling real citrusy. But I like it, which is weird because I'm not a huge citrus fan. But I like it. Again, it's not a heavy beer. And again, Wild Range is a very fitting name because the control on this thing is wild. It, again, like I said earlier, it changes constantly. Like the smell, the taste. As soon as that air hits it, again, guys, look. There's still a head on it. It is not flat whatsoever at all, which is so wild because I'm like nursing this. I'm nursing it. But this is kind of the beer that you have to nurse because You don't get the full flavor if you don't. I feel if you chug it, if you're looking to get, you're drunk or, you're at the bar and you want... Actually, I've never even seen this at a bar. I've never once, ever have I ever seen this on tap, on draft, on a beer list. Ever. I found it at Aldi's. Do you have Aldi's by you? Because, oh my goodness gracious. Never have I ever seen it in a bar, restaurant, anything like that. I found it all just randomly when I went, like I said, when I went to go buy candles. I was like, I need to pick up candles. And went to Aldi's. And I found this, and I just got super excited. Oh, you don't have an Aldi's. Okay. Well, you know what, girl? Because I'm gonna pick up that Mike's, I'm gonna send this to you. Because we're gonna have a challenge together. For sure. Not challenge, but like a friendly drink off. I'm gonna try yours, you gonna try mine, and we'll see how it goes. Does that sound good? Because I'm down. I'm down if you are. Because friends who drink together, kick it together for life. Yeah, now we're really in that citrus. Sounds good. Right on, dude. Right on. So excited. Private message me your shit. I'll send you a case of it. Your dad might like it, actually. Your dad actually might like it. I know he likes the more lighter beers, but I'm telling you, if he puts it in a cool glass, a cold, chilled glass, and again, it does not get flat. Look at that head. Still, and I'm nursing it, like I told you. Your dad might like this. It's like I said, it's got that caramel, but it changes. It evolves as long as you let it aerate and you let it kind of just let it chill, it changes. Even the scent of it, everything just, it smells different, it tastes different. Like each sip is just so different. But if your dad likes Bud Light, because this looks like a heavy beer, it's really not. It's really not. So I'll send you a case of this, for sure, 100. And just tell me what he thinks of it. Not in a bottle, in a glass. If he has it in the glass, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear how he likes it in a glass. But I'll send you a 6-pack of this, for sure. And then, like I said, we can drink together and have a good time. Because I definitely want to try that peach stuff. I love peach. Peach and raspberry are my jam. And this is where it kind of tastes, we've passed the citrus undertones. Know what? Oh, I see. I right above. This bottom part right here, this is the most citrusy part about this. And it's not even bad. It's very, very good. It doesn't smell citrusy though. It smells good. But it tastes citrusy, but not overwhelming. Definitely not overwhelming. So before I leave you guys, I would just like to thank all of you who joined in to watch my live. I appreciate every single one of you. Again, this is it. Wild Range Brewing Company from Rockwell Brewing Company in Rochester, New York. It is a 6.9, so be careful when you do drink it. If you do drink it, bar food or barbecue is the best thing to pair it with. That's what you want to pair it with. Because, it just tastes better that way. It really does. Get a cheeseburger, get a pizza. That's going to be your best bet. You don't want to get a salad with this because it's probably going to get shitty. If you want to know more about this beer, message me, whatever. My whole thing is brew tours. But when I do find a good beer, again, I found this at Aldi's. If you do not have an Aldi's, let me know. And if you want to try it, I'll send it out to you. No shame. I got you. Because not everyone has an Aldi's. We only just recently got one. So I'm very excited about it. Because again, I have not found this beer in any bar, in any brewery, local, any restaurant, nothing. So if you guys want some, let me know. I got you. I am very excited to switch up our drinks And I'm gonna get the peach. I will send you a case of this. Let me know what your dad thinks. And if you guys liked this live, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Please follow me on YouTube because I have my own show. I finally just own the rights to it. I'm very excited. We have new episodes dropping this fall where I go to different breweries, get the science behind the beers, all that kind of cool stuff. We interview the owners, we interview the bartenders, we interview the customers, you know, things like that. Like, it's super exciting. I'm super excited to share all these new episodes with you. All the shorts will be on TikTok. The full episodes will be on YouTube. I appreciate everyone who watched tonight. I love all of you. And yes, girl, we gonna drink together. As soon as I get that peach, we on. I'm gonna, like I said, private message me. I'm gonna send you a case of this. And we gonna drink together. I can't wait. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. And I love you. Thanks, guys. Goodbye. Don't forget, Wild Range all day. Once wild, always wild. Thanks, guys. Good night.